There's Moss, the new puppy, our new collie. Moss! Yeah, he's a good lad. Just watching the chickens, keeping an eye on them. Hi, welcome back to the farm. So we've baled all the bales, we've done the barley straw, we've done the wheat straw as well with the baler. And now we're carting the bales away from the fields, we're stacking them on the sides. Some are going to come back to the farmyard, and this year we've decided to put some tarps basically over the bales, because a lot of you guys in the comments have said that the bales are getting really badly damaged when they're stored outside. So there's some tarpaulin supposed to be coming on Wednesday. Hopefully it doesn't rain between now and then and ruin the bales, but this is basically what we're doing. So picking up the bales, and the tarpaulin will go over these bales. It'll do, I think, 200. I baled 510 bales over the last couple of days, and what a farm this is, actually, I've got to say. It's a lovely part of the world. This is the barley, malting spring barley, so I've got a few more bales to go and pick up over there. But yeah, come with me. Got the Manitou on at the moment with the twin spike. The 6155R is on the baler. That'll come off the baler tomorrow, and it'll go on the loader, and it will bring bales back to the farm while the Manitou here unloads the bales. So Manitou's got to have a service as well. But yeah, that's what we're doing anyway. Dad's also been out. He's been on the 6930. We were cutting some bales back earlier, some bedding bales for the cattle. So there goes Dad with the 6930. He's on his way back to the farm with a load of straw. Baled those up earlier today, and as you can see now, we are picking up the bales, ready for carting them back. So just leave them in a stack ready for when the 69 comes back. What a machine. What a day. What a day. So this field's going to be cultivated next. It needs to be prepared for the turnips, the stubble turnips for the cattle and sheep, and then we need to drill it, plant it with some turnip seed. So at the moment I've got the spinner, the little 500 fertiliser spinner, which I'm going to try and do turnips in this year, which will be 2 kilos of turnips per acre. So yeah, 2 kilos an acre, and it's 1.5 on the setting on the spinner, so I've got to make sure I get that right, and it's spread to 6 meters, 6.5 meters. So it's probably a better machine, the spinner, to put onto the Massey Ferguson 135 if I can. It's actually nearly brand new, that tractor, near enough, as makes no difference, but it hasn't got a top link, so I'm going to go and find a top link for it somewhere, and then I can think about putting the spinner on that tractor. Otherwise I'll put it on one of the bigger ones. I've still got my small tractor coming, which I haven't told you guys about yet. You'll see that in the next couple of weeks. But really, you know, the spinning is a job for the small tractor, really. And as we're driving along here, the sun sort of going down this evening, just sort of started to have a little look at the hedges. I mean, obviously September is the time, so it'll be a fair while yet, and we normally do our own hedges in January time, January, February, after they've gone brittle, after Christmas. So this year I've got some hedges to do before Christmas for some other neighbours, so we'll be out on the hedge cutter sort of beyond September, really, once we get the straw carted. I still got to muck the sheds out. Unfortunately, the ram went on the trailer, the hydraulic ram, which was rebuilt, and I just haven't had time to go back to that shed yet, because I had to go off doing silage and haymaking and all other sorts of things. So I'm hoping at some point to get the rest of that shed mucked out. And then we've got to load the barley this year, the malting spring barley, to go to Scotland, of all places, to be made into whiskey, as I said in my previous video. We were looking at actually selling it to Hawkstone, which would only be a 3-hour lorry ride away, over in Chipping Norton, funnily enough, where these attachments are made. Cherry product, shout out to them, made in Chipping Norton, Graham Cherry. So yeah, we were thinking about potentially selling the malting barley to Hawkstone if we can for next year, but the Diageo contract is really good. You know, we've always done the turnips afterwards as well. This is only a light land farm, and to be fair, it does work really well with the cattle, as I have always said. We know, I think without the cattle and the sheep, the muck, the organic matter going back into the land here, this little farm wouldn't do half as well as it does, yield-wise. And obviously with the cattle being able to get food from the arable, it works. They both complement each other. You know, we're a real small sort of, you know, mixed family farm, and it's a bit of a shame really, because, you know, a lot of the small mixed family farms seem to be dying out or disappearing, or normally getting rented out, that sort of thing. So it's just started to split with rain now. Luckily we have done all the baling, so but yeah, no, a lot of the sort of mixed farms are disappearing really. So I'm hoping to keep the farm going if we can, and if anything really over the next couple of years I would love to expand the farm. We're already looking at investing in some more cattle, and we're looking at investing heavily next year in some machinery for the farm. You know, I'm really enjoying the baling. You know, it's been taking a lot of work to get a baler and the silage equipment as well, the haymaking equipment. So I'm hoping, you know, that'll keep going on. Dad and I were saying earlier, you know, we're cutting a lot of bales now that, you know, the round ones. I think for next season we would look at another bale trailer, possibly a sort of 30 footer trailer, longer one for long journeys, because the current one we've got is 25 foot. It's good for sort of small gateways and things like that, but we do need a slightly bigger bale trailer to go along with it on long trips away from the farm, if that makes sense. So that is something we will look at. I know there's the hydraulic side squeeze sort of Bailey trailers, which are sort of like, if anyone's seen them, they've got like hydraulic sides, and you can pick up bales, and you don't really have to worry about ratchet stressing anything down. To be honest, I'll just have a second-hand one from local farm sale. I'm not really too bothered. I'll just have a normal bale trailer, but we'll see what happens there. Obviously, over winter, these bales have all got to be processed, and these smaller bales, these are 120s. I've also done 135s, which is 4.5 foots, and we've done 4 foots, which is a 120, and we've also done 5 footers as well, which is 150, 152 on the bale computer. These ones, 120s, are really handy for deliveries for the equine, because the horse people like small bales to move around the horse yard, and also when it comes to bedding down anything by hand, we do find the small 120s are quite good for man handling. So that's basically what these bales are. Anyone who's got a pig unit where you sort of manually roll bales out, you'll know what I mean. It's what we do in our beef shed, and it has worked for years and years, although the shed will be sorted out in spring 2025. So it was supposed to happen this year. Some things have changed. We invested in some more land, and yeah, lots of things have happened, so that there's been a big capital outlay this year. As well, you know, the Hedgecutter and the baler were obviously very, very expensive for the farm, so the building's all been arranged now with the company for next spring, which is good, but it does mean we've got to manhandle bales, and that's why I've done the smaller 120s, which will work out pretty well. And then I've got 135s as well. So we've got some big ones, we've got some little ones, and we've got some in the middle ones, if that makes sense. So that's the great thing really about the variable chamber baler. Rotana 160V, the Fendt baler, you can make anything from, you know, 90, 80 centimetres all the way up to 160. They even do a 180 now, the Rotana 180V, which is obviously up to 180 centimetres, which is like nearly 6 foot. Yeah, we'll get the rest of these bales stacked in. I'll show you some of the other fields which we've done. As I say, you know, really need to be looking at drilling now, getting the turnips in with the spinner, which will be going on literally in the next couple of days. I'll put the cultivator, I think, on the 6R because it's got the green star, it's got the GPS, and it'll be able to cultivate this field and the other ones, preparing it basically for the turnip seed. So that's what we're going to do next. Once it's cultivated, spin the seed on, get the rollers out, we'll drop the pressure on the 6930's XU bib tyres, and hopefully then we won't leave a mark, and we'll roll it in, roll the turnip seed in as well. So get the rest of these, and then we'll see where we're at. So lovely evening here. This is what it's all about. I'll be watching this video in winter when it's cold and wet and miserable, and I'm on the Hedgecutter. And yes, I do try and get onto the tram lines. I know James Peck wouldn't be very happy about that, from PX Farms, CTF chat. Right, that is all these bales on this field stacked to one side and put away. We'll just start on this field over here, which is the next spot to do, and then we'll call it a day, I think. The sun's going down, and it has been a really, really busy couple of weeks. You see the fodder beet is just ahead of me. It's actually really been suffering with drought as of late, although the other night we had loads and loads of dew, sort of a really dewy night, and it did perk up briefly. You can see the leaves have just started to perk up a bit. I don't know if you pick it up on camera. So they have come back, it's come back to life. from the dew in the mornings, and that's about the only thing which is keeping it going. But then you look there and you see the wilting there of where it's been deprived of moisture. So they are starting to erupt out of the ground, the bulbs. This will be harvested at Christmas time by the sugar beet harvester, and it will, of course, as usual, feed the cattle. We should have planted a bit more actually, but we put a little bit into one of those SFI schemes, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because I would rather get on and farm, to be honest, rather than, I'm not really, like I say, I'm not really the biggest fan of environmental stewardship schemes. I'd rather just plant another field of barley. But we have some margins. Some people, a lot of people do have margins. Hedgerows as well. I love the hedgerows, great for the birds. Of course, we don't cut them until September. But yeah, this is the next field. There's another one behind there, and then we've got some more on the other side of the farm to go and get in as well. So it's actually quite nice to have a bit of time to talk to you guys when I'm not driving a machine at the moment. Growing up, when I was a student, I worked all around the country, and I worked in Europe as well. And coming back to this farm, having seen farms around the country here and around the world, really, it's not bad. This farm, it's not bad. It's a small farm, it's a small family farm, but it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of TLC in order to get it basically to where we want to get it to, whether that's through farming it intensively or farming the environmental side, the stewardship. I mean, we do a little bit of everything, but for the most part I just want to farm. I really enjoy it. I love it. I love farming, and I do enjoy the arable a lot, more and more. Although the livestock are great too. The cattle I enjoy, I would say, more than the sheep. Dad's a big sheep man, he loves the sheep. But yeah, I really like the Aberdeen Angus. We have got a new Hereford bull which we've recently acquired, and I'll show you that in a future video. We just felt as though the Herefords got a nicer temperament, and they do weigh a little bit heavier when you come to sell them. So yeah, we have got a new Hereford bull. We've also got a blonde Aquitaine bull as well, so we do still have one continental left on the farm. But the idea around it really going down for the sort of native-y type Angus and a more native Hereford was to graze the marshes, really, and to graze the Broads. It's basically about converting rough grazing into obviously beef, but also maintain a habitat at the same time. So there's a little bit of both, really, which is just what I was saying about the environment, about the stewardship and the farming. I think there's a place for both things, the environment and farming. It can't be either one. I think it has to be a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. You can't have all your eggs in one basket. Tomorrow you'll see us hopefully kiting some bales as well, back to the farm with our small trailer. It is a bit small, we do need to get another trailer at some point, but Rome wasn't built in a day, and a lot of this machinery, to acquire it, YouTube's been absolutely fantastic. Give this video a thumbs up as well if you're enjoying the content, and it supports the farm, supports what we're doing, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be able to do some fun, exciting things. Shout out as well to some really good farming YouTubers who I'm watching at the moment. George Saunders, shout out to George. I had a great chat with George at Llama and the Doe Show, and he's bought the new Class Ivion combine. Lovely bit of kit on that farm. Nice small mixed family farm, and keeping it going with the new Ivion. Lovely. And then Tom Pemberton as well is doing really well with the dairy farm, building a new shed every week. So yeah, Tom Pemberton, Olly blogs as well with the tractors and all the arable equipment, big into the new fence, lovely, looking great, new Gen 7s. And James Peck as well from PX Farms. I think it's 12,500 acres, massive farm, enormous. Yeah, I do hear he's a Writtle boy as well. I did go to Writtle as well. So yeah, shout out to James Peck, James, if you're watching. And yeah, some great farming channels out there, and to Lockie as well, who's Australian. He's just gone back to Australia. He did land all right. He's back there. I did speak to him the other day, and yeah, he did invite me out to Australia at winter time or whenever I want to go. So I thought, it'd probably be better to go to Australia when the weather's colder and wet and miserable here, and you probably get some better weather over there. So obviously southern hemisphere. So yeah, loads of channels out there, and if you want to get started into YouTube, it's all about the passion. If you're passionate about what you do, whether it's farming, doesn't matter what it is, could be carpentry or plumbing or whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. As long as you're passionate about it, you can make some content and you can show the world what you're up to, and hopefully it will reciprocate in that you'll get some opportunities from it perhaps. a long time ago, you know, started the channel because I really enjoyed doing it, and you know, it's the passion. Sometimes when you're really busy and you're flat out on the farm, and as I've gotten older, I've grown up and, you know, become an adult, I suppose. You know, I'm 28 now. A lot of people, someone said to me in the supermarket the other day, I was getting some wine and I got bloody ID getting this wine, and you know, I'm only, you know, he said, oh, you don't look old enough for that. I said, yeah, I'm 28. You know, I do look a lot younger than I actually am, if that makes sense. But look, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, you know, I don't have as much fun, I suppose, on the channel as I used to, I suppose, because I've got a lot more responsibilities now, which I've got to take on my shoulders, really. And you know, we do try and get some guests on the channel. I will try and get out there and see some other farms once harvest is out of the way. I'd love to go and visit PX Farms, or I'd love to go and visit George or anyone else's farm across the country, or go and see some things. We get invited to stuff all the time, and I need to get off the farm. So yeah, Sommet d'Élevage in October. I'm going to try and go to that, the French show with all the cattle and the machinery and everything. Great show in Europe. Really did enjoy that the last time I went, so we'll try and go to that. Right now I've got to get this next bit of straw stacked up, and then we'll call it a day when it goes dark. And yeah, keep liking and subscribing, and if you're doing harvest, comment in the comment section down below what you're doing this harvest. Are you busy? Are you on the baler at the moment? Are you cultivating? Are you drilling? Leave it in the comments. Everyone's going to be really busy, obviously, over the next couple of weeks because the weather's come pretty good. So yeah, catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Click here to subscribe to the channel, and click here to watch another Ollie's Farm video.